July 6th rundown. We're brought to you by Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates again. Dave already gave his review. I'll give mine. It was fucking hysterical. Great movie. The chicks loved it. I've been saying this to a lot of people. The girl, Dan was there. Dan can back me up on this. The girls were dying the entire theater. So if you need to take your girl on a date night and you want a movie that you're both gonna like, go see Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. She's gonna love it. She's going to oogle Zac Efron. You will too if you're honest with yourself. Gorgeous cast. Hysterical movie. Comes out July 8th. Make sure you go see it.
All right, let's get into these topics. We start today with your boy Russell Wilson, the moment the internet has been waiting for. He is finally married on a fucking Wednesday like a complete poor person loser. Your thoughts on that, as well as the fact that he will now finally have sex with Ciara. Fights, you blogged it. We'll start with you.
Who in their right mind ever gets married? Like, I don't care how fucking rich you are. Who gets married on a Wednesday? In
England, though, right?
In England, on 4th of July week, in England.
England, dude, Europe doesn't work for all of July and August. They got that shit down so tight. They don't work. Every day is a vacation. You fucking see these Wimbledon idiots? They're just sitting on a hill watching a big giant TV of tennis all month. They don't work. Every day is a fucking weekend.
But it's all Americans going. Like, you're still a dick for making all your friends.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
The off-season, like, we don't all have off-seasons. When you work on a Wednesday, when you get married on a Wednesday, I have to take an entire fucking week off. When you think about it, they probably had to be there last night for the reception dinner. So they had to leave America on the 4th of July to go back to fucking London to get married, to watch Russell Wilson get married and have sex for the first time in, like, years.
If you're close enough to Russell Wilson and Ciara, though, this isn't the moment where you're like, I've had enough of these two fuckers. The England trip isn't like where you're like, all right, you already hated them a long time ago. So
see, I don't hate. I said that in the blog. I was like, and I listed all the reasons there are to hate them, but I still don't, because I'm still wildly attracted to Ciara since the ride video, and I don't like Russ Wilson, but I don't hate him. He's just like, he's a dork. He's hard to really hate because he's just kind of
a goober.
Yeah, he's like, it's hard to hate that kind of guy. He's just like a weirdo. So it's really, up until this point, I still don't hate them. It's still just another fucking thing.
Well, you know also that their wedding is the lamest wedding ever. I don't care how rich they are and what they spent their money on. They did all the corny, like, traditions and all the whack shit. That's going to be the lamest wedding ever, no matter what day it's on, no matter how much money they spend. That being at that place would be a snooze.
Do you know who Russell Wilson is? Russell Wilson is like, you know, on when Brazzers does the pornos and like the guy's wife will get fucked and he'll be like in the same room, like playing cards with his boys, and like they're like maybe 15 feet away and she's just getting banged out and he's like, I'm so oblivious. That's Russell Wilson.
Well, that actually might. You're joking, but like not really, because Ciara had to get her dick from somewhere. So there's a strong chance he actually was the cuckold.
That's a lot of pressure on him tonight. So
much pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a World Series Game 7, Super Bowl, 2 minutes to go. All that combined is Russell Wilson trying to lay the pipe tonight.
He's on the Super Bowl. He's on the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl tonight.
Woof. Don't throw an interception.
Not a good spot for him historically. I would say that it's like, up until this point, up until today, up until like moments ago, his dick has been Schrodinger's cat. Where it's like, in Ciara's mind, maybe it's a great dick. Like, there's still that hope out there that like, maybe I'm going to get there tonight and Russell Wilson is going to put it down on me. Tonight, she finally has to accept the reality that Russell Wilson does not have a good dick game.
I can't imagine he does. I think he needs to take the Super Bowl advice, though, like, run the ball. Don't get fancy with it. Just, like, have normal sex. Let her get on top. Let her get herself off. You hit it from the back a little bit. You're in and out. Don't get cute and throw the ball, because we know what happens when you try to overdo things.
At the end of the day, though, I think Ciara also knows that if things don't work out, like if Russell Wilson sucks at sex, she can just be like, Russ, you got to, like, eat me out for the next 2 hours. Or, Russ, I'm going to, like, date Future on the side. Like, I feel like she's got an out plan whenever she needs it, in reality, right?
When Future used to describe their sex, Future would, like, he described it as, like, a religious experience. He said they would pray together afterwards because it would be, like, so exhausting. Like, it was, Ciara's dick game is insane. Like, even if he just says, right, you're saying to run the ball and just let her get on top, that's going to take 2 fucking seconds. There's no way he comes out the winner tonight.
No, the deck is certainly stacked against him. Best of luck to him. I don't want to root against him. I hope he makes her come a couple times. Yeah. How about that? Good luck, Russ. Iron Man. Marvel has announced that Iron Man is now going to be a black chick. They say at the end of Civil War II, something happens with Tony Stark where he can no longer be Iron Man. She comes in to take his spot. We've seen this happen a lot in comic books. Spider-Man's going to be gay. This guy's going to be black, blah, blah, blah. Your latest on the comic books changing up the storylines, Dan?
It's actually, I know that the reaction is everyone gets upset, but it's genius when you think about it, because how else are you going to keep selling the same fucking comic books that have been around for 100 years? I don't give a shit about this stuff, okay? But I do give a shit when you make Iron Man a black woman, right? So it's genius. They're just playing us. Spider-Man's a fucking gay Mexican dude, and we're all like, God damn it, what's wrong with our America? Meanwhile, we just fucking talked about Spider-Man for an entire day. So hats off to you, Marvel. You've done it again.
Fights, you look to be in complete disagreement there.
Well, I strongly disagree with, I agree with the comic books. I'm not going to buy any fucking comic books ever. But I'll go to those movies. If they make those Marvel movies every fucking year, I'll go.
Yeah, I don't go to them, yeah.
Those are awesome.
You might not go, Dan, but like everyone in the world does. There's no, you don't need to.
No, but you're going to go anyway.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
but you're gonna go anyway. They're gonna fucking get like Beyonce to be the Iron Man, and it's gonna sell 1 billion seats, and you guys are all gonna look like suckers. Do that.
It's gonna sell 1 billion seats if it's just a white dude every fucking time.
You're saying Beyonce, a black Iron Woman, and have it be Beyonce starring in it will not sell the most movie tickets of all time?
Yeah, but it's like Durant going to the Warriors. You already have a good fucking thing going. Just stick with the white guy.
A little bit more.
I've always been a big fan of the changing it up. Like I still want Idris Elba to be Bond. I think that would be awesome. This is where I draw the line, because you're just doing this to be a fucking dickhead. Like, it's Iron Man, and you're making it a black girl. Like,
and it's the double whammy. If you wanted to make it a woman, you wanted to make it a black guy, you went black woman to specifically.
That's kind of funny.
With it. Yeah,
that's kind of funny to me.
They have to change the name, right? Like, you can't call this Iron Man. It's not Iron.
It also, there's no other movie genre that gets freaked out like this with how they, like, when Ben Affleck was the new Batman and everyone lost their shit. Mm-hmm. Just shut up and watch the fucking movie.
Comic book fans.
There's one stronger movie genre, and that's the Star Trekkies and the Star Wars dudes. Remember when they had
like kind of Diego, the put black in the same category, but yeah.
You put all don't lump me in with them. I'm a superhero Marvel guy. Don't throw me in with the Star Wars nerds. I do have another problem with it. She's really hot, and she's a 15-year-old girl. Like, have you seen that cartoon?
Now they're just fucking with us. Yeah, I like this.
Come on,
fucking cartoon.
Does that mean will like the Iron Man suit have like tits and ass and look like a chick?
I think so, dude. The cartoon picture of her is like, her name's Riri, first of all, so it's like supposed to look like Rihanna, bring callbacks to Rihanna, and she's a sexy looking chick. And then you can't be like, oh yeah, she's a 15-year-old at MIT. No, not that girl I just saw drawn.
Fights has already made up his mind on that one, no matter how old she is. We move on to the chick who was also pretty sexy, who says she made up a story that she spent a gap year in Africa helping out the fucking kids with malaria and starving and no water and blood diamonds, all that shit that goes on in Africa. She wrote a memoir about it, and then it turned out the whole thing was bullshit. She tipped people off by talking about some raids in the Congo, which never happened. She called it monsoon season, and there's no monsoons in Africa. And basically her whole story unraveled, and she made the whole thing up. Dan, what do you got on this white bitch line about Africa?
I love this story just because of how white she is.
She's
so fucking white. She's white. She's blonde hair. She's pretty. It's fucking gold. We've learned this on our own with the whole Emily Austin thing. If you have a blonde, pretty girl, white girl, do something that's like mildly either make something up or racist or something, the internet loses it. Actually, loses it more than the fucking Marvel nerds that freak out every time they change up a character. This is like porn for the internet So I love these stories. I love when these people get exposed. Those pictures of her, she's hot. She's really hot.
Yeah.
Making people really upset though.
I don't think what she did was that bad. Like she came back from her story abroad. She had a couple exaggerations. Like the things people are freaking out about aren't there. Like she got like, oh, like the town was invaded. It wasn't invaded. Soldiers came, but like they were tired or something. Oh, it was monsoon season. They don't have monsoon season. They have a heavy rain season. Like those are kind of small stretches of truth. But you can only tell them to your buddies when you come home. You can't write a fucking book about it. Like I would tell that if fucking soldiers came up to like my hut on a boat, I would tell you guys my hut got invaded. That's like how I stretch the truth.
Well, that's what you do. You exaggerate these type of stories when you go to these places. You study abroad, whatever. You always stretch the truth. I don't give a fuck about this. Whatever. Snake it till you make it. She sold a bunch of books. Who cares? Like if that girl, if someone said to me like, you made up your story about Africa, I'd be like, I don't fucking care.
Okay. All right, fine. Sell it in the fucking fiction section. I don't give a shit. Just sell the goddamn book.
Right. Don't care.
She also got screwed because it sounds like someone snitched on her from the village. Like there was another white guy in the village. You can't go to Africa and start making up stories if there's other white people around, because then they go and fact check that shit.
Well, also, it's like I think the other white dude needs to respect that we're all gonna lie about. You know, it's like you gotta.
But like that's what they did. Like it sounded like the what was the internet? The Observer or something just showed up and was like, "Oh, there's a white dude. Hey, you ever seen like the hot blonde that was walking around? Any of this true?" That was the easiest fact check of all time. So you can't be doing that around other white people. They'd be like, "Yo, that didn't happen at all."
I respect her email response though when they emailed her to question it. And she just went, "I'm out of town until Wednesday. Talk to my publishers. They were in charge of fact checking. Like, bitch, you wrote the fucking story. Just say it. Like, if they didn't catch me, then whatever."
Snake it till you make it. I love this chick. We got a couple prison sentences today. Both of them utterly ridiculous. You got Messi being sentenced to 21 months in prison, where he doesn't have to go to jail at all, and then Oscar Pistorius gets a cool 6 years in prison for murdering his girlfriend, which
he'll be out after one.
And he can get out after one?
Yeah.
John, I ask you, what's the more ridiculous prison sentence?
Giving the 2 years to Messi is just weird because, like, if you're gonna sentence someone to 2 years, you expect them to at least spend a day in jail. But if you're gonna put someone in jail for murder, like, find them guilty of murder and then be like, I think 6 will do it. That's insane.
Dan, you gotta wonder if him waddling around on his stumps played a factor here.
It absolutely played a factor. The minute we all knew this. The minute he walked around on his stumps and everyone's like, "Ew, whoa, okay, like this guy's a weirdo." He was good. Everyone's gonna have some sympathy on him. Everyone's gonna be like, we probably shouldn't put this guy away forever. Like he can't defend himself. He's just on his stumps. That's obviously what happened here.
Well, because you can't have those blades in jail, right? You're not allowed. I mean, that would be like a weapon. So he really would have to be stumpy in prison. You know, I hate to side with a murderer here, but you're just basically throwing that guy to the wolves if you're going to let him be in the clink with his stumps. Yeah. So maybe 6 years ain't so bad.
It's only one. And her excuse was she's like, listen, his life's never going to be the same. He's already a fallen hero. It's like her argument was like he's not going to make Nike money anymore. So like, what's the point? It's basically he'll be free in South Africa without Nike money. So it's like he'll basically be in prison forever.
This just goes to show Africa, like, come on, get your shit together. No one's ever going to take Africa seriously if this kind of stuff's going on. 1 year in prison for murder. Give me a fucking break, Africa. We wrap up today with Denard Robinson, your boy Shoelace. I don't even quite understand how this all happens. The police found him and a passenger asleep in a Chevy Impala that was sinking in a goddamn pond. Shoelace took to Twitter and said, I was driving while I was tired, and I shouldn't have done that. He like didn't even want to get out of the car as the police told him, like, get the fuck out, you're sinking. Big Ten guy, we'll start with you, Dan. What do you got on Shoelace?
I just don't understand how anyone is like, why aren't we asking what kind of drug what kind of cool ass drug he was doing? Because that's like, I want that. Reading the report and how he just like, he kept on sleeping through it. Those guys were fucking high on something. And I want that shit. So we got to figure that out. That's really all I care about this story.
Fights?
As a guy who has been known to sleep a bit and maybe miss a kickball tournament or two, while people try and wake him up, this drug could have just been a lot of booze.
But I would assume that if it was a lot of booze, they would have given him a breathalyzer, right?
Yes,
that's
you would
the
absolutely
mystery
assume
here,
that.
right?
But like, I think there's no way this cop just thought he was sober. I think he just didn't care that he was.
Okay, because that's a mystery. Because that's I was waiting for the and then he blew of 0.285, and that never came. So then it's like, okay, was he high? They didn't say anything about weed. There's a mystery drug out there that only Denard Robinson's fucking with, and I want some of it.
Fights, you really are the fucking champion of sleep, though. I mean, you could easily fall asleep in a sinking car. That's like not a far stretch for you at all.
No, I absolutely 1,000% could, and I'd just be like, and I would have the same reaction too. I'd be like, dude, no, no, you're dying, you're gonna drown. Like, fuck it, I lived long enough. This hangover is gonna suck anyway. Like, let's just take it out.
Speaking of which, John, I feel like you went on a 4-day bender for July 4th and just didn't even hear from you for 4 days straight. I got one text late Monday night. What are you alive?
Yeah, had a real America bender this weekend because it started Thursday night at that Mike and Dave party.
Yeah.
And that kind of just whipped. Next thing I knew, it was Monday. But
it happens to you. It creeps up on you.
Yeah, it really sneaks up on you. But it was surprisingly, yesterday was an okay day. Like, I didn't talk to you guys on G-Chat at all. It was one of those days where it's like, I'm just in the office to do my work and get the fuck out of here.
Get in, get out.
But it was like, yeah, as far as 4th of July hangovers go, yesterday's wasn't the worst. I kind of planned the bender perfectly, where I kept it going right up until Monday night at dinner, and then I shut it down.
You were so ridiculous this weekend with your summer water rosé and your pictures that it got to the point, Dan, where my wife was texting me pictures of Feidelberg being like, this kid's absurd. What is going on? That's the type of bender John
forgot about the summer water. Drank a ton of summer water this weekend, yeah.
Summer water's delicious. We didn't talk about
life. Just live your life.
We didn't talk about it on the rundown, but it obviously was a big part of the news. Foul ball guy versus Marlins man. The reason we don't even need to talk about it, just go listen to Pardon My Take, because both of those interviews, and particularly Marlins man, was the most absurd conversation, human interaction I think I've ever heard. That guy is from another galaxy with his. I mean, he makes Portnoy look humble. He makes Portnoy look rational. That was something else, Dan.
Dan, at what point, and maybe it hasn't happened yet, did Marlins man realize you guys were mocking him?
I don't think he. Well, in the actual interview, we weren't overtly mocking him. The Zulis since have been amazing. The tweets being they're basically it's what we wish that when Dave isn't joking, it's basically go Preds go, but we're having fun with it and being go Marlins man go, you're the best, and he's just I know I am, thanks guys, I do it for you. It's wild. The similarities are eerie. It was a wild interview. So I was telling Kevin it was an hour long. I had to cut half of it because it was just kept on going. It never ever stopped.
Marlins man and foul ball guy are probably the two most ridiculous people on the planet Earth to be this at the center of everything on the internet. And I decided to just throw fuel on the fire and bring Tico, Texas in the mix. Yes. So I did 65 minutes with Tico, Texas, Dan. So you'll hear from Tico.
This is fucking July, dude. This is July. Just think about it. You can't sum up July's sports scene better than Marlins man, foul ball guy, and Tico, Texas. Being let's just fucking talk to all the loony birds out on the internet. Although
Day
foul ball
dogs.
guy, he's our guy.
Day game dogs are in the building.
There we go. What's the score in that game?
Tico, not a fan of Barstool Big Cat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever said anything to her.
So not only did I called it the Tico 10. It was 10 topics with her. So we talked about the foul ball saga, but then I brought up how many hot dogs could she eat at a hot dog eating contest. So my natural lead-in was how you did it, and she right away was like, "Fuck that guy. Fuck him. Fuck Big Cat." It's whoa. So be on the lookout for that. Not a fan.
Now that I think about it, I've probably said some pretty mean things about her.
I think she's watched them all, apparently. She knows.
I was like, I've never really had an interaction with her, but now I'm thinking about like the mean things I've said to Dave, basically that are meaner about Tico. Like, what are you doing with your life? You're fucking hanging out with like, yeah. So, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair about Tico. I'm not gonna get. Yeah,
I didn't crush her over it. I was like,
she's in her right. She's in her right. I'm gonna. You know what, Tico? If you're listening to this, that's fair. I'll own that. I probably have not been the nicest to you.
Give it a listen tomorrow. We talk about Brexit, aliens, hot dogs, the whole. I mean,
you really run the gamut on her, huh? Her brain's been fucking hurting.
Outer space, man. Oh, and she shows her belly button again.
Oh.
The thing is so big. I told her it's bigger than a white dude's dick. It's huge. It's growing. It's just getting bigger. It's disgusting. I'll tweet out a video. It makes my skin crawl. I think she's an alien. All right, boys. Talk to you.
All right.